I am going to talk about any critiques I have. And there's only one. There is one small critique that I have, and that this is probably just a me thing, but if you were there, let me know if you also feel this way. And then I'm going to talk about the differences between in-person and delivered. But if I could critique anything, would be that the group events, so the make and takes, the fun with the instructors, would be like earlier in the day, because the group things would end at like 11 p.m. and normally I'm in bed by 9 p.m. So and like that's fine, I'll stay up to like 10:30, but when things are like wrapping up around 11, you finally get up by 11:30 and get ready. Like I had no energy the next day, and I was like, I didn't want to miss out on things. There were people who did go to bed and like miss out on those things, but I didn't want to miss out. And I tried to force myself to be awake, but then I was just so grumpy the next day, being on so little sleep. So I think the experience would be a lot better if everything was kind of wrapped up by 10 and then you had the option to stay up until midnight. Like obviously you can still like have the event open, but if like I just was like, if I go to bed, I'm gonna miss out on stuff. But then if I don't go to bed, I'm gonna be like so tired tomorrow morning, because like my body is just gonna wake me up at 7 a.m. Which maybe for some people getting that much sleep is normal for them, but for me, I'm like 6 hours of sleep. I know you people with kids are probably laughing at me, but I'm not good with 6 hours or less of sleep, and then that just didn't make the experience as good, because I was just so tired for the rest, like the next, like I would get so tired the next day. But that's just a small little critique that's personal, and probably a lot of people were totally fine with staying up that late and were excited to stay up that late. But for me, it was like, I couldn't do it. I am not a night person at all. So if those group things were at lunchtime, I think that would be great, because that's everyone is going to be there already. Like I'm not saying to make it at 8 a.m. because I know some people are going to sleep in, but like the middle of the day, lunchtime, or like 7 p.m. or like right before class or right after. I guess not right after, because classes ended at 9, but maybe in the middle of the day when you know people would not be sleeping. That's my one and only critique. By the way, it is thundering out, so if you can hear that, I do apologize. We've had like it was hailing, and then the roads were getting all iced up, and then like a layer of ice, and then it was snowing and thundering while snowing, which I've never experienced before. That's like been kind of weird. So that is my one minor critique. If that's like the one thing that I was like, I'm gonna miss out on all these things because I can't stay awake. Like I was, by like 10 o'clock, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's still more. It's been such a long day. There's still more, and I don't want to miss any of it. So I forced myself to stay awake, and I was like this at my table, like trying to stay awake. And everyone's like, laughing and having a good time. And I'm just like, I want to have a good time, but I'm so tired. So the lateness of things is the one thing I would change, but otherwise everything else was amazing. They go above and beyond. It was spectacular. Okay, hi. The camera cut out, but I had to go anyway. So it is a couple hours later. It is very dark out, but we're just gonna roll with it and finish this video. And it was pouring rain out, so like I'm all soaking wet, I feel like. But we're just gonna finish this video. I think the last thing I was talking about was the difference between delivered and in person. And there are some huge differences. Obviously, there is the fact that you're in person and you're doing it online. So delivered is basically the same thing, but you're doing it at home, and it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But with that, you're not signing up and paying for individual classes. You're getting all of the products, all of the classes. Whereas in person, that money, Laurel and I were talking about this, that money that would go towards the classes and products normally is going towards like your lunch and the dessert buffet, and obviously securing the room at the hotel and things like that. So yeah, they're just two very different events. I found that there was a lot of free time in this create an inspire weekend, like almost too much free time, which is really good for those who don't normally get to craft. But like I said, I craft almost every day. So, which I consider myself very lucky. I don't have any kids or anything. So I have that extra time to just craft whenever I want. So that would be something to be mindful of if you're thinking which you would want to spend your money on if you only had one option. So I do want to get to some questions here. I just briefly looked at my phone and realized that there were some questions, so I'm just going to quickly read through them. What's the reality of the schedule? Does it stay to plan? That is a good question. So other than on the last day when they were about a half hour late on the closing announcements, other than that, everything was very much on time. And I think that was a fluke that things ran late, but everything was very much according to schedule. They give you this schedule at your seat and everything is very much according to that. And they're really good at staying in the time frame that they are sharing. So there were a lot of people who flew in. There's a question about like arrival and departure times, and it kind of got cut off in the question box because it's so small. But like Laurel flew in that day and got in like perfect timing. But I know there were, and she stayed with me a couple days after, but I know there were a lot of people who stayed at the hotel an extra night and then flew out Monday morning, or people who got in a night before or whatever, or maybe like went to Niagara Falls or Toronto for a couple days before. There's a question about what you get for product. And it just depends on how many classes you sign up for. So if you sign up for a lot of classes, then you'll get a lot of kits, and the kits are probably about the size of like a regular collection would be. Like in a 12 by 12 thing like this, a kit would fit in this and be pretty flat, but it depends how many classes you sign up for, and then how much product you buy. And then we also did get the shadow box, which takes up a bit of room. This is, I think, an 8 by 8 box. So yeah, you definitely have to be mindful about how much you buy. And if you're going to bring luggage, you are probably going to be packing a lot in your luggage if you're flying. For all of your tools and supplies. I was driving, so I didn't have to really think about that, even though I didn't bring that much stuff. Oh, that's the other thing. They will give you a list ahead of time on the supplies and tools that you do need to bring that they're not providing. So scissors, adhesive, maybe some punches and things like that. So your suitcase will already be more filled than it would be for a regular trip, if that makes sense. So there were some freebies in what was included, but not a lot, and I won the giveaway too. So yeah, you want to make sure you have some extra room in your suitcase, which can be tricky for someone who is not a light packer, or if you aren't taking like a checked bag, that can be a little tricky. But also you probably couldn't take scissors in a checked in like your carry-on. So or liquids, like if you have liquid glue. How noisy is it? Can you see and hear the instructors? That's a good question too. Sorry, they're all great questions. In the rooms, in the big rooms, they were using microphones. So in the very big room, like the big crop room, they were using a microphone for that because it was a huge room. But in the classrooms, there were 3 different classrooms. I was only in 2 of them. In the one classroom, it was really big and she had a microphone, and the other was a small classroom and she did not have a microphone. But if you do, I saw this in the group, if there are any issues with like hearing or anything, you can request to be seated near the front, or just anything, any accommodation like that, they're totally good for. And it's not very noisy in the classes. Like I didn't find it difficult to follow along or hear, and the teachers are very engaging, that if you have a question, they'll answer it or help you. The other thing I wanted to note about this is that I just could not believe how friendly everyone was. I don't know if I've ever been in an environment like that. And I've been in a lot of like church groups growing up and things like that. And like those were a lot of welcoming environments as well. But there was something about this group, even though there were over 300 people, that like if you're just like standing in line and talking to someone, or someone behind you is talking to someone else and you jump in the conversation, everyone is just so friendly to chat and include you in the conversation. Like, it felt like we were all friends. It didn't matter your age or anything. Like, everyone was just chatting, and it wasn't like weird if you jumped into a conversation. It was really great that way. I've never had an environment like that, even though like it was my first time, and it didn't feel like exclusive. Like, it didn't feel like, oh, these people over here are the ones that like that have been there a lot. Even though there were some groups like that, it just didn't feel exclusive. Do you think it was worth the money compared to other similar events? So I don't have anything to compare it to, and it depends if you're flying in. If, I don't know, if you think that's worth it, you're going to get a lot less product for the money you're paying, because again, you're paying the same amount of money, but you have to pay for the additional classes in this one, whereas in the delivered, all of the classes and all of the products are included. So if you're looking more for the product side of things, then I would say delivered is more your thing. You will be doing it at home. But if you're looking for community and to just get away for a couple days and to just be able to craft all weekend, then this is probably your choice. Sorry, I heard rain. I keep forgetting it's raining and it distracted me. So yeah, it just depends like how you want to spend your time and money. For me, because I was driving, I think next time I would take the train, because then I like feel like I'm on vacation more than I was, because I was thinking, especially being in March and it's still being winter, I was just constantly thinking about that. And also Toronto traffic is terrible, and like them paying extra money to go on the toll roads and stuff. So I think next time I would take the train, at least partial way. But otherwise, like, I wasn't really paying for anything except my admission and then the 2 classes that I paid for. So I wasn't paying for flights, and of course I paid for the hotel room for 2 nights, but I went with Laurel, so we split it. So it just depends. I would say if you are flying here, I would recommend for if you can, stay for more than just the weekend and do Toronto, Niagara Falls. Like, there are so many things you can do, and if you are going to do that, I am happy to answer any questions about that, because I live in the area. So happy to answer any questions about like touring around the area. Oh, and someone asked about friends too. Actually, this is the same person who asked a lot of questions, which I really appreciate, because then these are probably questions other people have too. But about it being friendly and easy to find people and groups to hang out with, to eat, and etc. So yes, everyone super friendly. Also, you can tell them, like, I don't know, I feel like I remember them saying that there were tables where for people who came by themselves, which I think if I went in the future by myself, I would ask them, please put me with people who are also by themselves so that we can all be friends together. But everyone is so friendly. Everyone at our table came in pairs, so it was like 2, 2, 2, 2. And for the most part, people were like, we made friends with the 2 people beside, well, actually quite a few people at our table. 4 people for sure we made friends with, and we were just talking all weekend about their kids or jobs or friends or whatever. Like, we had never met each other previously, but when you first walk up to somebody, like, most people are like, so have you been here before? Is this your first time? And then you're just sitting there crafting, and everyone's just chatting away about the most random things. And then you're talking to the person behind you and the person behind there, and someone walks past and hears you say something, and everyone's super friendly. I also want to say, like, thank you to everyone who's a subscriber or follower, like on Instagram or whatever of mine, who like said hi to me, or there were a couple people who were like, I know that voice, or like, I know your name, where do I know you from? Like, I was just shocked by the amount of people who came up to me and said that, and it was so, so sweet. Like, I just can't believe that there are real people out there who watch my videos. So that was like so amazing. Teresa, who I was on a design team with, met her and a couple lovely like subscribers that like I feel like are my friends now. It was just so cool. Like, just mind-blowing, and I like appreciate you all saying hi. It made me feel more comfortable because it was my first time. Okay, I think that's it for today's video. I have talked so long. If you have any more follow-up questions, let me know down below and I can answer them there. I think I covered a lot of stuff that I wanted to. And I will say it was a 10 out of 10 event. The people at Scrapbook and Cards Today go absolutely above and beyond to make it the best experience possible. There was even an issue with like paying for parking and stuff, and they haven't fixed it yet, but they have been on it and coordinating to try and figure out that fix, because yeah, like the events are just so large, over 300 people, and they're juggling so much, but everyone was so kind, so friendly, so welcoming. No one really that I felt bad vibes about. Like, sure, there's some people here and there that maybe are not overly friendly, but that could just be their personality. But like, I never felt uncomfortable. I think if I were to do it again, I would bring more projects to work on. You know what I did bring? I brought beads to wire wrap. And that was a good activity. That was not like, I didn't have to think creatively about it. I could just wire wrap beads. And then of course people were coming by like, "Well, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Well, you know, I have a shop." And so then they're like, "Oh, well, let's see what you make." So then I ended up making some charms, but I made these. Aren't they adorable? 3 different colors, and I made one more, and oops, I gave it to Laurel because it matched her mini album, so I gave it to her. But it was a nice little activity to do while I didn't want to be creative and think about where things were on my page and whatever. I could just sit there and wire wrap beads and chat. I think I would also like bring my headphones down too. Like I had my headphones in the hotel room, and to bring them down to just like maybe put on a podcast or YouTube video, just to give myself a break from like socializing. That sounds really mean, but like on the mornings, the Saturday morning from like 8:30 to like 11:30, it was pretty quiet in there and there weren't really a lot of people. So I wish I would have had headphones to just like have something, because all you hear is like chatter, and it wasn't loud or distracting, but like I would have liked some kind of entertainment to make my morning go by, because that morning kind of dragged on a bit. That's when I did like 9 projects. So anyway, that is a tip that I would recommend, is bring something like wire wrapping beads, or like this lady was making these little boxes for a project, and so she made like 20 of those, and that like it's just like a non-thinky thing. It's just you just do it, and I think that was a really good. I packed the beads last minute, and I'm so glad I did, because I think that saved me from getting too much in a creative slump. Was to just switch it up a little bit. Having new collections helped. I didn't dig into any of the stuff I bought, but I did use some stuff from the classes on my projects, and having new products helped, because I wasn't feeling creative with the stuff I brought, because I haven't bought a new collection in like a year. So I was feeling a little meh about the products I brought, but I still feel like I brought enough. I just didn't have enough projects to do. And I think I would take breaks up in the room more, like go maybe read for an hour in the afternoon, or go for a swim or a walk. The weather was terrible. I would have gone on walks if the weather wasn't so bad. Like to get the juice, the smoothie in a Saturday morning, I would have gone for a walk, but it was raining and snowing. Actually, at that point, I don't think it was snowing. I think it was just raining. So I did not go on a walk, but I think that would have been nice to just get some fresh air, because you're not trapped, but you're in this room with no windows. So the day is going by and you have not seen sunlight, and you don't know what time of day it is, and you're just crafting. So I think just like taking a walk break would have been helpful, or a reading break, which I did read a little bit, but I think if I were on my own, I would take more breaks. Not that being with someone makes a difference. Yeah, and I also like had this fear of missing something. I did not want to miss out on anything. I had FOMO, so I was trying to stay down there as much as possible so I didn't miss out on anything, or any fun, nice conversations. And of course, you're always going to miss things if you're not there the entire time, but I just didn't want to miss out on anything. So I think next time I would take more breaks, but I think that's it. Taking the train, like I said earlier, is something I would do differently. But yeah, I have nothing to compare to. I would like to try other crops and events, but those would probably be things that I would have to fly to. So it would just be like a bigger financial investment. I mean, there probably are ones around here. If you live in the either GTA or Niagara area, let me know if there are crops or other events in the area, because I would love to go. I'd probably want to take the train for that, just for to make it feel more like a vacation. But if there is something like, you know, that I could take the GO train, then let me know, because I would love to meet more people like that. But I'm also scared, like, what if people aren't as friendly at other events, you know? Like, I've heard that Crop and Create and Inspire are exceptional in the friendliness of it all. But yeah, I don't have anything to compare to other than the delivered version. So I hope that information was helpful. Like I said, if you have any questions, let me know below. If there are enough questions, maybe I can do a part 2. But I feel like I went over everything in this schedule, everything, what I would do differently, what I wish was done differently, the things I packed, those were on the list. So nothing really I can advise you on. But anyway, I'm going to end the video here. Sorry this is so long, but I hope you enjoyed it and got some useful information on this. If you went, let me know down below. I wish I could have met more people, because I got messages after like, oh my gosh, you were there, I didn't see you. And there were so many times where I felt like I recognized people, but I didn't know where from. But you did have name tags, which helped. But it's kind of weird to like look at someone like you're trying to look at their name tag. But that was nice that we had name tags. So it was good to like help remember names. But if you were there, let me know. If you've been in the past, if you're going in the future. I don't know what my plans are for the future for a delivered or in person, but it was really a 10 out of 10 event. The team did an amazing job and they went above and beyond. And I definitely would go again. I don't know if I'm going to go next year. They're doing it, I think they said, in October of next year. Don't know if I would go back again that soon, and that time of year doesn't quite work out for me, but I definitely see myself going again in the future, and I loved it, and hope to go to more in-person events in the future and meet new people. And I had fun with my bestie Laurel. We had such a good time together, and it was just so cool to do an event like this together, because we met online. A lot of people were surprised that we met through this crafty community online. And I visited her a year and a half ago, and she visited me now. And like, yeah, I think it's just like such a special community. She's not my only friend that I've met through this community. Like, some of my best friends are through this community. So I feel lucky in that sense. But anyway, that's it for today's video. Thank you all for being here. Hopefully the camera was okay. I would love to do more vlogs, like crafty vlogs or like day in the life vlogs with this camera. I think that would be fun, but let me know if that's something you'd want to see. Anyway, any other comments, questions, message me. All the links will be down below in the description, and thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day. Bye.